bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough and it seems like your best ain't good enough, if you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning into the classroom for the first time, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. I just love having, well, I would say, Dr. Anna Maria and Brian Clement in the classroom. There's always bring so much joy into the classroom with the information that they share. So it's been a while since they've been on, and I'm just excited because we are uniting, we're combining forces, and they're going to be coming to Rockledge, Florida on November 21st, 2023. And you're hearing it now so that you can schedule it right now, get your tickets, because we have the early registration discount, because you know I love a good discount. And we're going to be talking about how to take our health back. We're going to be, it's called the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. That's January 21st, 2023. So right now, put it in your phone, get your tickets so that you can hear wonderful speakers that will not only give you answers to what's going on in your life, but will also offer solutions. Because really, honestly, the only solution is you. I Am the Solution is created for all of us, that we can see that we can turn the ship around. I don't care where you're at in your health. And Brian and Anna Maria Clement are passionate with Hippocrates Wellness, passionate to help you turn the ship around so that you will miss the iceberg. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that both Anna Maria and Brian Clement, PhDs, are here to do just that. Welcome back to the classroom. I'm so excited to do this with you guys.
You also. So nice to be with you again.
Thank you, Lily. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So share a little bit about your background and why you are so passionate and about what you do.
Well, my story, I come out of Sweden, and, Swedish diet is, of course, not a healthy diet. It's mainly dairy and meat and lots of gluten and coffee and wine and you name it. So when I was teenager, about 15, I went on a journey with my dad and my brother. We really didn't know where we were going to end up, but we realized that there were another lifestyle out there and that we needed a change. And we were lucky. There was a lot of people in this field that were teaching us about raw food. And of course, Ann Wigmore came to Sweden, our founder of the Hippocrates Wellness Institute, and we hit it off. And then Brian, who became my husband, came also with Ann Wigmore, and they were the opening act of this beautiful vegan restaurant downtown Stockholm. And we kind of hit it off. At least Brian thought so. He told me, one day you marry somebody like me. But I've been passionate since day one, since I started in this field. At 18, I came to a clinic outside Stockholm where a lady had for 30 years been helping people with rheumatoid arthritis and serious inflammatory problem like Crohn's colitis, psoriasis, everything under the sun except cancer. And there was kind of an untold law that you didn't deal with cancer when you dealt holistically. So when Ann Wigmore said that she had healed her stage 4 colon cancer, it was like, oh, of course you did. Of course it works. And so many people, so many hundreds of thousands of people have listened to that and believed it and healed themselves. And, you know, the passion in my life is that I have an amazing family, amazing husband, our kids and grandkids, but every day coming to this beautiful place called Hippocrates Wellness and seeing what is possible for humanity. It's just, it's, you know, cloud nine. If you're not on cloud nine, I don't know, you're sleeping.
What about you, Brian?
Well, in the summer of 1969, I was in trouble. I was severely obese and smoking cigarettes and practically every day stoned on grass. And a woman who was 75 came to me and abruptly said, I'm going to die. And when you're a 20-year-old boy, the last thing in your mind is that you're going to die. But there was something that resonated with it, because I obviously knew I was like an elephant. And, you know, you can't survive or sustain life like that. And she put me under her wing and convinced me to be educated in this field, which wasn't easy because I was in conventional universities and learning what I needed to about biology, anatomy, physiology, etc. But you had to go and be with the experts. And back in those days, in 1970 and beyond, it was Dr. Bernard Jensen, Paul Bragg. You know, these were just giant figures in the field of American complementary healthcare. And Dr. John Christopher credentialed me after I had my initial degree to be an expert in herbology. And when I finally transformed my life by shifting my diet, one summer, it was very, very warm where I lived then on the West Coast. And I just gravitated not to cooking, you know, when it's 100 degrees every day. And I felt remarkable after 2 or 3 months, and remembered that I had read a book early on when I just began called Be Your Own Doctor. And it's written by a woman called Ann Wigmore, who Anna Maria just mentioned, who back in 1952 was told by the Harvard doctors she had 90 days to live, and healed herself and created the field of alternative holistic healthcare. So this organization founded what is today commonplace almost 70 years ago. And we were founded in Boston, 1975. I went to visit, I was asked to come and work, and I never looked back. The reality is that this organization is the model of the future of healthcare. And we have the data, the experience, the depth of knowledge, and let's say humbleness to always want to learn more, to grow, not to be static, not to be set in our ways, to always look at mainstream science and a complementary healthcare and human biology and natural history. And this is our way of doing this. We combine the best of all. And this is why we're noted globally for more people healing disease than any institute in the history of healthcare. I'm not talking about natural healthcare, in healthcare. So after the systems fail out there, people come here and we give them the ability to heal themselves. And the other last part of that puzzle was I went in thinking I could help to heal people. I've realized for years, as you said on the monologue, that we have to teach people to heal themselves. It's one thing for sure, my team, my medical team here, Anna Maria and I are not going to go home with you and make you do this. You've got to do it.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love that it's a do it yourself while you're learning. And that's why I am the solution. I remember sitting in your office as if it was yesterday. It was like the beginning of the year. And I said, I want to do something. Let's do something. And you say, well, plan an event and we'll come speak at it. And I'm like, really? I am excited about this. And so the event is going to be January 21st, 2023. It's a one-day event where you get to learn from Maria and Brian Clement, as well as other speakers like Dr. Jennifer Graham, Thomas Levy. And we also have Susan Whitaker, who's going to be talking about EMFs as well. So it's just going to be what can I do? Not what the white coat's going to tell you to do, so you can go into this white coat trance. What can I do to hear and obey what my body needs? One size does not fit all. And anyone who believes that one little pill is going to cure every ill is just, is being delusional. Go ahead, Brian. What would you like to say about that?
It is, but for a long time, I looked at that and I recognized a couple of things. And I'll give some facts to the listeners that's sort of appalling. In the year 1990, you, I, and everyone else was exposed to about 200 F-words a day to sell us something. The average person today, as we're speaking, have nearly 3,000 approaches because we're on our phones, we're on the internet, we're on Facebook. It's a consistent bombardment. So the brain can only take so much information. And what happens after a while, you have an exhaustion that you throw your hands up and you don't believe in anything. Mm-hmm. So you go back to the familiar. And the familiar is a white coat syndrome. Mm-hmm. Now, the horrible part of this story, which most Americans don't know, and I always consistently say this when I'm lecturing, is the number 3 disease killer in this country and in all of the developed countries of the world is modern medicine. The only thing that supersedes it is one that they participate greatly in it. Cancer is number 1 and heart disease is number 2, which, by the way, is 97% lifestyle. It's not a disease, just like type 2 diabetes is not a disease. These are your choices. You either choose to do what's right and to heal you and to make you well and keep you young and vital and sensual and everything else, or you choose to get on a tightrope and hope to God you don't die. And that's what most Americans, most people listening have done. And you're so overwhelmed, tsunamied with information that you go back to the familiar or the holistic doctor who basically isn't saying much different than the other doctor, but giving you chemical pills or something else.
Well, as you know, my registered service mark is you can take a pill or you can take responsibility. That's the tagline for the summit. I want to all encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. And when you do click on it, there's going to be a pop-up that says, I am the solution. And if you want to be the solution too, please click on it, especially if you live in the Florida area and you want to just take a nice drive to the East Coast of Florida, which is absolutely beautiful. And so you can learn and grow and learn from other vendors that are going to be teaching you and speakers how to take back your health. Now, one of the reasons I wanted you to come on, both of you are living an exemplary life. And so one would say that when you live a life that gives the body what it needs, you could probably live well into your hundreds in a healthy way. I just caroled a woman that used to come caroling with us many years ago, but I lost track of her. And she's 101, and we were singing to her, and she was as vibrant as she was when she was in her 80s. I knew she was old then in 2006, but now she's 101, and she still had that vitality, and she still had and her son was like, don't stand up, but she was wanting to dance, and let's talk about mindset, and the mindset of saying, the person that I hear all the time, well, I could never give up meat. I can never give up fried foods. I can never give up a pie. What do you say to those people?
Oh boy. So, I mean, that happens here. So it's easy when you're under one roof and we're feeding you and the juices and everything happens.
And we get psychotherapy too.
And of course, psychotherapy and the exercise and going to sleep early, everything helps. But of course, it is a mindset. And that we get this, we hear from our guests all the time that, what if I fail? And all this thing that we put into our head that maybe I can't do this at home. Well, then we sit down and we say, okay, so this is how simple it is. how can you grow sprouts? We teach you how to grow sprouts. How do you prepare a meal? How do you prepare a salad? How you prepare a dressing? Do you do dehydrated stuff? You get a dehydrator. It's a little box with a heater and a fan to control the temperature so things stays alive. And, you know, it's been researched by Dr. Howell finding that enzymes only survive max 118 Fahrenheit, 46 Celsius. So if I want to eat food that's going to give me the ultimate, I want to keep it alive, and I want to eat things that are alive. And that will keep me away from a lot of problems. But so what we do here at Institute is we actually teach you step by step. That's what we are about. And that's what our founder, Ann Wigmore, was about, that we teach. It's not clinical, it's teaching.
Yes.
The most,
Anything you want to add, Brian?
yeah, the most abundant fact that clarifies that the human being was meant to consume raw plant-based food is not only our work with hundreds of thousands and our internal research that watches people with stage 4 disease recover, but those of us that live this way, I'm well into my 70s now, we just don't age the way the rest of the population does. But more than that is that every single creature on earth, every single species on earth, except humans, eat 100% raw diet in nature. Now you have a choice to be an egocentric lunatic and think that we're the right one, or that maybe we're the wrong one out of 8 million species.
That's a great question to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
And what are we trying to be right about anyway? We want to make sure that we embrace whatever is right for our body and not what is right for the sales of candy bars, you know? So there's so much so the mindset. I know that you guys work on a spirit, mind, and body approach, and you teach people how to eat and how to cook, but what have you found is kind of like continuous, or what do they have in common when somebody is making choices that will help them live a healthy life? What are some of the things that you're finding that are in common?
We'll give you science on it.
Okay.
And I just wrote 2 articles this morning for our upcoming magazine that all of you can get for free by going to the Hippocrates website. It's called Healing Our World. There's been 42 years of that being published. And the January issue will have this. So the number one thing I'll say to you is that what has been published and believed by psychology for more than 50 years is that between conception, the minute the sperm and egg came together and created you, and 6 years old, we develop 85% of our personality. Now, that may be a very horrifying thought for you if you had a traumatic childhood. So your mother was abused, your mother and father fought, you didn't have a father, you didn't have a mother, you saw all kinds of insane things happening as a child, but none of this is irreputable. It's just like a drug addict or alcoholic has to realize she or he has a problem to make the change. Second thing is that we were always in the field of psychotherapy and psychiatry and psychology, looking at the complicated ways and years of work it takes to reverse these patterns. If you remember the old records, the LP, often they'd get stuck in the groove and the same notes would be played over and over. Mm-hmm. They know now in a very simplified way how to push it so the music of your life continues on, get you out of the groove. And in one clear and concise practice, I'll tell you what they found. That when they looked, the neuroscientists looked at synapse. That's the way the brain cells charge the neurons. They looked at the pathways they created. And when you, in fact, have done something wrong and are congruent enough, awake enough to realize you've done something wrong that's counterproductive, if you immediately, not in a second, but consecutively, do something that's positive, now the neurons put it in the same file. This is amazingly simple and it works like crazy. So now every time you do something wrong, you don't remember wrong, and I've always done things wrong, and I've always had these patterns, and I've always eaten bad food, I've always smoked cigarettes, and I've always drank alcohol, and God knows what you're doing. But now you start to put bigger and bigger files in that direction that says, no, every time you do something wrong, you follow it up with something good. That's how you change the human brain. Isn't it simple?
It is.
It's an amazing, and by the way, this is confirmed at this point. So the only trick in this is to be awake enough to realize when you're doing something wrong, catch yourself on it, call yourself on the baloney, and basically make something happen rapidly that's positive. And they see within a matter of a month to 2 months, 21 days forward, that this permanently starts to change your patterns that are deceptive and dangerous for you to have.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add to that, Anna Maria?
And people that become centenarians and super centenarian, which is 110, I mean, they have not lived a life where they abused food or they abused anything. They have worked hard. When I talk to people that are 100, they said, "Oi, I worked hard since I was 12 years old, but it didn't hurt me," because they had a good life at the same time. They had what they needed, and they didn't look at themselves as a victim. Because nowadays people think, gee, like I'm 67 soon, and they think, oh, you should be retired. I'm like, that's not going to happen. And so, they enjoyed their life, and they enjoyed themselves and the beauty that they had and what they could give to other people. And they took care of themselves for sure. And they know about centenarian that they can have all the diseases that the rest of us can have, like cancer, arthritis, diabetes, but they don't get it. And if they get it, it's when they're like 101. Yeah.
They have an understanding, unfortunately, today that completely contradicts what doctors are telling people, that your genes determine your long life. That's not true. It's absolutely, completely demolished. It's disproven at this point. What Anna just pointed out is that people have the same exact genes that can create cancer, can create problems of all type. And the truth is, because of their patterns of life and their optimism and their affirmative actions, they don't manifest the disease. But
if you look at, there's no generation that has been eating as bad as we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody ever ate
They
as
wouldn't
bad.
have imagined.
No.
They would have poisoned. My grandfather's generation would have called everything that I ate as a child poison.
Absolutely. And it's getting worse.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
getting worse. We're seeing children that have never had a home cooked meal. We're seeing children that have never had real food either.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
it's getting sadder and sadder, and we are becoming more numb and numb about this. And I know the importance of making these choices that are going to live towards longevity, that it's going to give us, people say to me sarcastically, and I will add that, oh, well, we got to die from something. And I
Sure.
always tell them, my follow-up question is, yeah, but how do you want to live? Because
Yeah.
I've seen people in their 60s with tubes all over their body,
Sure.
gasping for air. And, so I want to live while I'm living. And when I take that final breath, yes, there are car accidents, and yes, there are accidents. But if I can prevent, whatever could happen, because it's easier to prevent than it is to reverse. So what would you say to someone, and we'll start with you, Brian, what would you say to someone that is ignoring their body, the whispers of their body saying, oh, now you need a statin. Oh, now you need this. Or now you need a cholesterol medication. Now you need it. So those are whispers from the body. And then all of a sudden, a heart attack, cancer, that's the body shouting to us. What would you say to someone that already is in that process and now is being lined up to go get a cath and a stent and all that? What do you say to them to wake them up when it comes to their health?
I asked them if they want to participate in their own demise, their own death. And that's as clear as I can be and as honest and truthful as I can be. Because if you, by the way, take your hands off the wheel before you're ready to crash, you're responsible for the crash. You've got it, in my view, a person who cherishes life, has gratitude. And I hear so many people who call themselves spiritual, they don't get this. They don't realize the greatest thing we have is our time here on earth. It's a privilege to have this. And if you're not going to grab that wheel and try to prevent your own demise, then something's seriously wrong with you. Second thing I say to people, if they don't listen to the first, is, do you believe in suicide? Even people who are suicidal will say no. Nobody believes it. Well, you're committing suicide. And, you know, certain things were laughed at when I was a boy, like cigarettes. When I was a kid, shortly before, in my parents' generation, they would put ads up, and I have some of these ads, by the way, showing that cigarettes improve lung capacity.
Yes.
And athletes and doctors, which cigarette does the doctor like the most?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember those commercials.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
I
9
just-
out of 10 doctors approve smoke Camels. You remember that one?
Right.
Exactly. And then the mustache, you know, the milk mustache.
Oh
Well,
boy, that was a good one. Yeah.
yeah, you know, this. And so I understand that it's hard to live in an honest way in a dishonest world.
Yes.
I understand that they spend billions and billions of dollars molding your imagination from the time you're a child. But here's something I want to add to the conversation. A number of years ago, I was coming off the stage, and who was there with me was a former head of the FDA, Dr. David Kessler, who, by the way, I had no love lost for. And it's hard for me to dislike people. I like everyone. And he grabbed my arm and he engaged me and he said, you know, I used to think people like you were quacks, but no more. And to be polite, I said, what are you doing, Dr. Kessler? I know that you left abruptly the FDA. He said, I couldn't take it anymore. He said, I'm working on childhood obesity. And here's what I want to tell you, that every major international, multinational food company has chemists on their payroll that make synthetic opiates they put in the food. I was stunned. And the room was filled with doctors who were standing on the stage having this conversation. And I said, isn't that illegal? He said, no, these are not on the illicit drug list. These are concoctions called hyperpalatability. They have a name for it, hyperpalatability. And seemingly the sugar, which is more addictive than heroin and cocaine, wasn't enough. Now they have in your cookies, your fast food, your potato chips, your pretzels, all the commercial foods, addictive substances. So you, your family, and your loved ones perpetually consume and buy that product. So there is some empathy and compassion I have for people that until I was aware of the depth, you know, I wrote a book years ago called Sweet Disease, and, you know, looked at the studies on how this is not an exaggerated statement, how heroin and cocaine are less addictive than sugar.
Right.
And I'm not only talking about white sugar,
Yeah.
I'm talking about brown sugar, I'm talking about honey, I'm talking about maple syrup, I'm talking about agave syrup, the worst of all. And people don't realize this, but now they're actually compounding that. So to get off these things, this is why you have a difficult time, even if you're generally a strong person. If you ever try to give up, you know, sugar for a day or coffee for a day, we watch it. We're doing it here every single week.
Yes.
Since 1956,
Mhm.
never have stopped, never have closed. And it's hell. And it's an addictive substance and these patterns that you and I just spoke about.
But just look at the supermarkets all over. We just did European tour. We did Germany and Romania and Sweden, and it didn't matter where you went, the same stuff in the stores. And so you think that somebody's looking after you, that somebody's choosing these
Or the
things.
government's testing it.
Yeah, they're testing it. And then, so I just did another tour for a Norwegian group. And when, at the end, I said, if you think that somebody verifies organic chicken, organic eggs, meat,
It's completely a con.
you are being conned. And they were shocked to hear it.
Books that Anna have written, or Dairy Deception, I show it, I give you the statistics, the facts on it. Poison Poultry, I
Yeah.
give you the facts on it.
Killer fish.
Killer fish. I mean, it's endless propagandized marketing that's condoned by the government, because to get in positions as a Republican or as a Democrat, you have to be paid off and funded by these nasty people who, by the way, have nothing in their mind except profit. And they don't have your health, the future of your family, or this country in mind, or the world, in fact.
Yeah. So that's why I am so passionate about I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. And I'm so grateful that both Maria and Brian Clement are going to be one of the speakers. They're going to be speaking at this event. I want everybody that's coming to sit down and write and learn and grow and understand that everything that we choose, like from our fork, like our fork can be a weapon of mass destruction.
It is. Not can be, it is.
Or it could be a tool, or it could be a tool to heal every cell in your body. And so we are in choice. And that's why I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit is going to be January 21st, 2023. I know that you will love meeting Maria and Brian Clement. There's going to be an opportunity for book signing. So bring your books, get your books, and there'll probably be books there that you can buy as well to help you. And there'll be time for you to, if you have any questions about going to Hippocrates Wellness, you can go into, I'm going to have a private booth for you guys to go sit down and talk. There's so many things that that we can start saying now is the time. I think what and I don't want to get into the virus that just that happened in just recently, but what I want to say is that was a second chance for many people. And I hope people heard the warning. Just recently had Dr. Furman in the classroom, and he said, for people that have, been sick and that it's now getting worse, people that got sick during that time, people that were overweight, people that were eating the standard American diet, that they, instead of saying this is my wake-up call, instead they're getting worse. And so with that in mind, prevention is key. However, if you're currently in an active dis-ease, or if a doctor has said to you, oh, let me give you this pill and you're going to have to take this pill for the rest of your life, what do you say, Anna? Is that a true statement that you have to take a pill for the rest of your life, or can you reverse it by the choices that you make?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the question we get. Can I reverse my diabetes type 2? Can I reverse this? And can I reverse this cancer? And of course, what we do is to teach you, to give you the tools so that you can do that. But I mean, I think the sky is the limit. I think that everybody should do everything they can to reverse what they have been given, because it's been lifestyle, it's been stress, it's been relationships, it's been pollution. I mean, there's so much pollution now, more than any generation had to ever survive, that it's killing people, just that. So if somebody asked us, can I reverse this? My answer will be yes.
Anna Maria just wrote an article on pollution that was taken out of the Lancet, the most reputable and professional of all medical journals in the world. And the reports were so stunning that 20% of the people that die on Earth today, remember we have 8 billion people. So 20% would be between 1.5 billion and 2 billion people die because of air, water pollution, clothing pollution, and food pollution.
Wow.
Now think about that. And this is completely 100% because of industrial waste. Now, governments and democracies are supposed to be protecting us from those things. They're in bed with these people. They're promoting it. They're allowing it to happen. They're actually facilitating it. And so these are frightening times. That report literally stated in the most important medical journal on earth that more people die of air pollution, water pollution, food pollution, clothing pollution, polyester, nylon, etc., than all people in car accidents, all people in war, all people in cancer. I mean, the list goes on. Now, every major thing that if I ask the average person, well, people die from cancer, they die from heart attack. All of that together doesn't kill as much or as many people as pollutions. And it's in your food, it's in your air, it's in your water, it's everywhere. You've got a lot of work to do to live in a sane way in an insane world today.
But we do teach how to detoxify this. So there's always solutions to everything. And we can make our home really safe. And we, of course, Brian and I take saunas every day to actually perspire out heavy duty chemicals and metals and toxins.
We drink only the cleanest water.
Yeah.
We wear only cotton and, wool and things that breathe. Linen, and it has linen on today.
Yeah.
I mean, our underwear, everyone listening, this isn't like an optional thing.
Cotton.
Unless you want cancer, your underwear, your
Yes.
bras, your underpants, your panties all have to be organic. They're available.
Everybody
They're available.
asked somebody with breast cancer, did you wear synthetic bras with underwire? Yes.
In our book, Killer Clothes,
Mm.
we report 2 landmark studies that show that women that wear polyester nylon bras have 6 times more breast cancer. Now, God forbid they're big bosom and they have underwire in the polyester nylon bra.
Mhm.
It's 8 times more. Now, how come I'm telling you this? How come your holistic doctor didn't tell you this? And as Dr. Furman reported to you, I'm sure, 82% of who died from that previous planned virus literally died because they had morbidity. That means they had secondary obesity problems, diabetic problems.
Right.
I mean, we see it here. Never in the history have they had long virus, long COVID. They're writing about it in the science journals, which we read. The last week, the entire journal was dedicated, science, to this subject. And we're treating these people here. Now, thank God we have the means and the ways to do it and the wisdom and knowledge to do that with the medical team. But how many people do? I have a girl that's a neighbor of ours, a young girl, 30 years old, who literally, she's had this for 2 years and been to all the doctors, the so-called natural doctors, and it's getting worse because they're giving pills. They think, oh my God, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to detox. You don't have to take hyperbaric oxygen. But we tell them to do it. There's certain food-based supplements that you take that literally raise that immune system and eradicate the dust. We've been using here 1.5 years, a kit from a medical doctor colleague of ours who's one of the top homeopathic doctors in the United States. And that, by the way, is made to pull the virus out if you've had it, or God forbid, you took the vaccines, which is worse.
Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I've learned about what's happened in the past and why people can't get better is that somehow mold is being reactivated in the body. And we just started, and viruses like HIV, Epstein-Barr, and the people are just so sick. We ourselves experienced this, both Robert and I, and I don't know if you know Dr. Lee Cowden, but he contacted Robert and said, what you got and what you're experiencing is fungus. And I'm thinking, if he's experiencing fungus, then now that reminds me of the 8 years we lived in our beautiful home by the river that was full of mold. And also 5 years prior to buying our place, 5 years in a mold infested garage. And so it like, okay, well, what can I do? So mold, overgrowth, which mold is great when you're dead. It's the design of mold is to decompose the body. It's designed to decompose the body. But when it overgrows while you're alive, it creates problems that become an imitator of dis-ease. So a lot of people are being diagnosed with all these symptoms or diagnosis. They're being told they have these diagnoses, that it's really mold and that they need to get that out. So it's great that you are in the saunas and getting that out and sweating it out of your pores. And so I want to encourage all of you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com and check the M-Cube detox experience that we started as a result. I just wanted support going through this, because once Lee Cowden sent me all the things that we needed to do, I said to him, oh my gosh, if I'm overwhelmed, everybody else is overwhelmed. So we started this and I'm just really excited, very proud of it. We're almost towards the end of the detox, but anybody can get it at any time. So go to whenyouneedafriend.com. While you're there, please subscribe to the website and like and follow us in all social media, as well as check out my sponsors, support the sponsors the way that they're supporting the classroom. Go to the Shop Now bag because I think it's until December 17th or 16th, you can get heavy duty discounts from Nutrimetics. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nutrimetics, but you're able to get 25% off your total price. So just check out all the Shop Now bag and everything that you can find that will help you spirit, mind, and body heal naturally, especially your makeup. Your makeup is so important. There's so many chemicals and toxins, and I love that Hippocrates has their own line. I'm excited about their line because it's all natural, no synthetics, and I'm excited about that. And so last but not least, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom. And whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month, which is a monthly donation or a single donation of your time, talent, and treasure, all of it is appreciated. So if you're looking to donate this year and you want a place to donate to, we could use your help. Censorship is causing prices to rise. And so I would love for you to help out. Once again, I want to invite you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. It'll pop up the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit on January 21st, 2023. I want you to do it right away so that you can get the discount. We have VIP passes that will include lunch and a one-on-one with some of the speakers. We also have regular admission, but I want everybody to come to this, to be invested in their health, because only you can turn the ship around. Make sure that you turn it around so that you miss the iceberg that is under the surface. You may not see it now, but it's there. So turn the ship around. It's in Rockledge, Florida, and Anna Maria and Brian Clement are the leading speakers at the end of the day. And so, but we'll have lots of speakers, and we're going to learn a lot about our bodies, our spirit, our mind, and all of that works together. And you can, and so today we have Anna Maria and Brian Clement, who are from Hippocrates Wellness. You can go to Hippocrates Wellness as well, and you can find the summit there too, and check out what they do and how they're turning ships around. The body is our temple. And so that is the only thing that we have control of. So make sure that every morsel that comes into your mouth counts. So as we are looking at the new year, I'm excited about doing the summit, the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. And the I Am the Solution, by the way, the I Am, so that all of you know, the I Am is the God in us that's constantly whispering to us. The I Am is the God in us. And that the solution is an acronym that we get to hold on to so that we can live the life of our dreams. And knowing that at Hippocrates, we are so aligned. It's a spirit, mind, body approach to health. Now, start with you, Anna Maria. With this summit, is there a particular topic that you want to share with the people that are going to be joining us? Is there something in particular that you want us to be aware of as we journey to that day? A challenge or anything?
I like to be practical. I like to talk about how we feed our heart and our brain. I like to talk about the fats that we need, and so that people have a clear way of knowing this is the good stuff. This is what I should choose. I think as long as we get information, and especially from people that have been doing this so long, we learn from our guests that are here what works and what doesn't work. So I like to be the practical one and show the road to health that way.
Very good. What about you, Brian? As people prepare to journey to the summit, they go to the top of the mountain and live that mountaintop experience, what do you want them to be mindful of as they prepare for this day?
Well, most important, why we've agreed and to do this unified offering for people here in northern central Florida and from Georgia, and you can drive over from Mississippi and Alabama, is that 50% of the energy in the entire year on change and becoming healthy is in January. So this is why it's an opportune time. Many of you have the right intent and you believe, okay, here's my resolution, and you're struggling. I promise you, after you come to this conference, between Anna Marie and I, we have a combined 100 years. Listen closely, 100 years of work. Anna Marie in Europe in here, me in Europe in here. We've directed centers all over the world. Anna speaks 7 languages. We've written a combined 30 books. I'm currently writing 4 books. By January, my newest book will come out, The Self-Healing Diet. And we are happy to be in that room and give you our understanding of what we've seen thousands and thousands, in my case, almost 300,000 people I've worked with over the last 52 years, what made them well. But more important, we want you to ask questions.
Yes.
We want you to get what you came there for. We want you to walk out of there and never have a doubt in your life again that you have to suffer or that you have to go down a road where you're doing somebody else's betting and you're not doing your own. Independence. Our whole mantra here, our mission statement is literally liberating people and the planet Earth. We've got to liberate ourselves from our fear and from the commercial interest and from the propaganda and from the sickness and disease. This week, I've just given a program to the guests here on campus from all over the world, 8 of which have healed diseases in the past. Our alumni come back here. And the whole thing is fear creates disease. And listen closely, people. I show the entire economy of the developed world is based upon death and dying. It's the war industry. It's the oil industry. It's the pharmaceutical industry. It's the meat and dairy industry. The way we govern, the engine of the economy, what creates money, are death and dying disease. It's time that we, as we do here at Hippocrates, take our lives back and say, no, no. We want life, we want happiness, we want spiritual awareness, we want camaraderie, we want support, we want the America that we dream of having. We want the world to be at peace. And the only way this is going to happen, it's not because you're politically aware, it's because you're stable in your choices. The way you eat, the way you think, the way you relate, the way you act, the way you work. If you're not solid on those things, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
I could end the class right here, right now and be done, but I've got more. I just want to let you know that one of the speakers, so that you know, attended Doctor's Days at Hippocrates. So just like I'm doing, Hippocrates is doing, we want to educate our doctors. And I want to encourage all of you to learn, to invite your doctors to do courses. Dr. Levy is going to be there, going to be at the event at the I Am the Solution Health Summit, the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. Dr. Levy is going to be a speaker. Dr. Jennifer Gramuth, who attended Doctor's Days at Hippocrates Health and Wellness. We have a Susan Whitaker, who's the #1 dowser, and she is going to talk about EMFs and how EMFs do affect us. And so it's going to be a wonderful day of awareness. And if you don't have your ticket yet, you need to get your ticket today so that you can go at a reduced rate. I always love a good discount. And so I want to encourage all of you to get your tickets before December 31st, because that's when the discount ends. And so
all of the people that are coming, Anna Marie and I will bring gifts from Hippocrates.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Include me in that one, because I'll be there too.
we'll actually give you one too.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so because we only have, we're coming to the end of the classroom, but we still have some time. I want to, you talked about great marketing, like milk does the body good, and cigarettes, 9 out of 10 doctors smoke Camels, or whatever it is. So let's talk about some of the myths on food. Let's talk about like breakfast, for example. There's so much, back and forth, like breakfast is the #1 food of the #1 meal of the day. It will set you up. And then there's people that say intermittent fasting, that's where the sweet spot is. What is your take on, and the science that you've researched? Because I don't want just opinions, I want science as well. What is the science that has formulated your opinion?
The good news, everything I'm going to say you is overwhelmingly scientifically
Right.
validated.
Yeah.
So number one, I haven't eaten breakfast since 1971. It's the worst time of the day to consume food. Now, here are some facts, not opinions.
Mhm.
Between 11 p.m. at night, 11 a.m. in the morning, the body's pushing waste out. That's why when you wake up in the morning, even if you're healthy, you have what we used to call sand in the eyes, a sandman came, and a cotton mouth. That's the mucus man and the poison man. It has nothing to do with the sandman. And so that's evidence that what's happening, your metabolism during the night is actually taking, even if you eat healthy food, it has debris that has to come out of your skin and other orifices in your body. Number two, we should be eating high nutritious food in small amounts. I've read over 2018 studies, to be exact, that show people on high nutritious diets with low intake, low caloric intake, live the longest and have the least disease. Now we go to what you mentioned, the work of Dr. Sinclair, the Dr. Longo, Sinclair at Harvard, Longo at USC. Both of these men and others, True North, colleagues of mine that have a fasting clinic, they all tell us, because their whole life is research on this, is literally, if you could get to a point, which Anna Maria and I are at, where you eat one meal a day. Now, let's preface this. If you're a young athlete training for the Olympics, you need more than this. But as we age, high nutritious food like the Hippocrates diet, the highest protein diet in the world, the highest vitamin diet, highest mineral diet, the highest essential fat, the highest phytochemical diet in the world. You don't need to eat a lot. You need to eat small amounts of a large, nutritious meal. And these are the things we know to be true. And not only do we know it to be true, we've been employing them here for 70 years and doing clinical research on what happens when people do this.
We just had one of our guests that was here 4 years ago that was fighting stage 4 colon cancer. He came here, he healed himself, of course, through the time that he stayed on the program. And then he decided to become this bodybuilder. And he came back here for 9 weeks. He was just here and he became amazingly good. And he the myth of protein being in meat and calcium being in dairy, he totally disproved that. And he really showed everybody in the bodybuilding. He competed. He's 74. He competed with 60-year-old.
He won. He beat all the younger ones.
Yes.
In the 60s.
Yes.
He won number 2 for 40 and older.
Yeah.
And by the way, Thomas lives close to where you are. And I think if I ask him if he's in town,
Yes.
he'll come and speak.
Exactly.
So
We
8
should
years
do that.
ago, 8 years ago, he abolished stage 4 cancer. So
Wow.
if you want us to do that, Lillian, we'll ask Thomas and his wife to come.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. There's just so many things we don't know.
Mhm.
And until we're curious, I think that and I've experienced this in my transformation, being dismissed, being called names,
Yeah.
because I don't follow the masses. And so it's okay because I know that what I'm doing is good. We want to feel like we belong, but this is not the place to belong, which is dis-ease. It's not the place to belong. Dis-ease is not the place to belong. You want to belong to open-mindedness. You want to be curious instead of critical. And I hope that as you're transforming, and this is my own personal request for all of you that are going to be joining us at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit in January 21st, 2023. And that's early in the morning. Registration office opens at 8 o'clock, and we're going to go till, I think Brian ends at 5. And then there's going to be some time for people to look at the vendors and all, and sit down with Brian and Anna Maria. If you have any questions at that time, you can do so. But that's the tribe that we want. And as you're getting to that moment, I want you to be curious instead of critical. It wasn't until I was challenged to go raw vegan for 1 month on my show that I didn't realize that I could feel better. I didn't feel bad. I just didn't know I could feel better. So what else is there out there for you? What will you discover in your challenges? And that you can attend this event, learn as much as you can. This is just the beginning, the dipping of the toe. So before we go, because we only have about a minute or two left, Anna Maria, what would you like somebody to know that would be, not eligible, but that deserves to come to this workshop?
Oh my gosh, I think parents, I think grandparents and parents, I think anybody that can be influencer in somebody else's life should come, and of course for themselves.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the responsibility, and people don't realize we're in these addictive patterns. We're poisoning ourselves, and worse than that, we're training and teaching our offspring to do the same. And it's perpetual sadness as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
So when people come to us, and I think you said it correctly, that there's a big, ruthless tribe of confused and lost people that just want to be part of something good, bad, or indifferent.
Mhm.
We want a tribe of self-loving, respecting, humble people who have gratitude. And that's the tribe that you're creating there. That's the tribe that we're from. And we assure you that if you think of yourself as worthy enough to have a better, happier, healthier, more prosperous life, come with us. We'll show you how to do it. We've not only achieved it, we've helped tens of thousands of other people do so.
I'm so excited. Go to Hippocrates Wellness. You could check out their website. If you are a subscriber, you already have their link. So just click on it. It'll take you straight there. And the workshop or the summit that we're going to be talking about, that we've been talking about, is on January 21st. It's called the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. It is January 21st, 2023. And we're going to start early in the morning, and we're going to have healthy food there. It's going to be interactive, and we're going to be able to ask questions.
Can we dance and sing a little bit too?
Absolutely. I'll start with dancing. We're going to be
I'm for that.
Absolutely. It's always good. And laugh. And it's about laughter. But I'm going to encourage you to be curious, not critical. Go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Click on the pop-up and get your tickets now, because before December 31st, you will get an early registration discount. And after that, you will pay full price, which is what it's worth. It's worth more than that. You're going to get a lot of years of experience, and it is time to take your health back. And please remember, and thank you so much for being in the classroom today. I'm looking forward to having you live when we're going to be discussing this once again next year, when we can come together. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And happy holiday to you and everyone
happy
listening.
Holidays to everyone.
And let's let the next year be a time of peace, inner reflection, and well-being.
That's right. And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Anna Maria and Brian Clement wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
Thank you, Lily.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any